Hello, people. Welcome to Main Event Boxing Talk, and this is one of the rare times when we ever do one these days.
Yeah, really.
Well, that's my fault. Hello, Tom. Welcome, Tom.
Hi. Good to see you guys.
And welcome, Spencer.
What's going on, guys?
Right, let's talk some boxing. Fabio Wardley.
All right.
Fabio Wardley signs with Matchroom. No, sorry, with Queensbury, Frank Warren. God, I'm an idiot. What does everybody think about this signing for Frank Warren?
Go ahead, Spencer.
I mean, is that a better? Will he have better fight prospects? He probably will, right? You know, he's
yeah,
heavyweight. Frank got more heavyweights at the moment, right?
He does, but I'm not sure. Continue on with what you think. Continue on.
I mean, the heavyweights that he has right now, I don't think Fabio could beat or really is going to compete against them, like the Joyces and the Dubois and stuff. But I mean, it's
Moses Atuma. They're saying Moses Atuma's probably as good as him now.
Okay. All right.
You've heard of him, haven't you? Moses Atuma. Yeah, he's pretty decent. And Karen.
Go ahead.
Moses Atuma is a young man who wants to break Mike Tyson's record, right? Everyone's raving about this young man. He beat an old 43-year-old Maris Wack, who has resembled a punching bag for the last decade, as we know. But I'm not. When I look at it, what do you think, Tom?
Well, I've been following both guys. And the thing about Wardley is he's got a really strong chin, but he gets hit a lot. I mean, when he fought his last fight that he lost, or didn't lose, he almost got knocked out. He actually won against Holiday, but he did get cracked really hard. And, you know, his way of getting out of those things is to just keep punching. So I think it's probably a good idea that he signs with this group, Matchroom, right?
Because it is. I see with Frank Warren Queen. The problem I see with this is when he was signed under Matchroom, then he went from Matchroom because he only did a fight-by-fight basis, the same as what Dillian White did.
Right.
So he did it with Ben Shalom. I can't remember the name of his stable. Can you remember the name of his promotion? Because I forget.
What the fuck is that?
You know who I mean, but I forget the name of his promotion.
Damn, what the hell?
As far as him and Atuma goes, Atuma's a better boxer.
Ben Shalom's damn thing.
He's not going to let Wardley, lean all over him. And
boxer, yeah. Since he's left boxer,
boxer.
Then he's got a rematch against Fraser Clark, who was a boxer fight. When I look at Fabio Wardley, the way he's developed through, he's 29 now. He had 5 collar fights, right? Went straight to professional. He's done it the hard way. He wasn't supposed to get to this level at all, right? So the fact that he's British champion has got me thinking that he could probably go further. I think people are really underestimating his ability. Obviously, he's got no chin, so if he gets knocked out in a couple of fights, it's over. But I think he's lucking on that chin of his, right? As we know.
Yeah, he has a good chin. So did Joyce.
But the truth is Fabio Wardley's got the heart of a lion. He's like an unskilled version of Dillian White. But I think he could at least get some sort of a European title shot or possibly get some sort of a world title shot against, the lower guys. But I'm not saying he'll ever be a world champion, but he might surprise some people, He
has a 94% knockout rate.
Yeah, that's not good.
He might get a title shot down the line, especially if he wins the European title.
But it's all down to matchmaking, isn't it? The way they matchmake him is perfectly. But when you look at someone like Moses Atuma, he's had the background, he's had the amateur background. He had something like 200 amateur fights or whatever it was before the age of 18 when he turned pro, right? So that's the difference. It's the amateur. If Fabio Wardley had the amateur background, he'd be a much better fighter. He'd be further along the line, but he isn't. So I think he may have reached his ceiling.
Well, here's the deal. When you're a trainer, you don't try to change what the guy is good at. you try to improve at what he's good at.
Just to meet and compete
So if you look at Rocky
Um,
Marciano,
decently.
who had only 12 fights,
Mm.
but he
with
had
the
the
White
heart of
Sox.
the lion too,
Yeah.
and he had the willpower and the dedication. What they did was they maximized,
Yeah.
you know, what he could do really well, and then added a few things. So it's not about totally recreating him. You know,
Yeah.
you're not going
I
to change
think
his
he.
heart or his power.
Yeah.
You just got to work on developing more of what he has.
I haven't seen it. I like watching Fabio Wardley fight because he's got no fear. He doesn't care. He gets in there. He gets somewhere. This is the difference between him and other fighters. I think he has a bigger heart than Anthony Joshua. Seriously. And, you know, he does. He has a bigger heart. If you have that bigger heart, sometimes it can get you through fights you normally wouldn't win, right? Just look at Derek Chisora.
I think they should wait on Atuma. I think they should let that marinate. You know,
Yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah.
he's not ready. I mean, he may be ready, but I think it's best that they just let him develop as he's meant to develop. Don't rush something what could be special. That's what I don't understand about boxing. Do you agree?
You think he? Yeah, you think he could fight? What's the guy name? Majabe or one of those guys?
Jagba?
Fabio.
No, most of
Yeah.
the Tuma. No. He's not ready for those guys yet. I don't think personally.
You're a Vianello or any of those other guys. Not
No,
yet.
no. Yeah, people talk about him being ready. You know, give him someone like, you know, like a Nathan Gorman next, or someone like, you know, like a Dave Allen. Dave Allen's better than, you know. Give him somebody a little bit better, you know, than Whack. You know, like, you know, Emmanuel Char or someone like that. You know, someone like that. I'm just being
Trevor
honest.
Bryan.
Favorite fighter.
Or Daniel Bryan. Trevor Bryan's retiring anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Brian Jennings. Is
Brian
he
Jennings.
around still?
No, he's retired as well, I believe.
Well, I think it's a good move for him, and I think
Let
we
me
should
double check.
some better fights.
Let me double check something about Brian Jennings.
Do you want to move
Mate,
on?
oh, is it? Yeah, I'm
Oh.
just checking something about Brian Jennings.
Oh, okay. Brian Jennings, huh?
Yeah, Brian Jennings is fighting in a couple of days.
There you go. He
Tonight.
just retired.
Okay, there you go.
That's good.
It's his first fight in 5 years.
Wow.
Oh, this is ridiculous. I was going on the website the other day on Boxer, because I normally do every week, as you guys know. I looked at some of the I looked at the Danny Garcia Lara fight, and I see there's no title on the line. Then I go on current boxing champion and find he's a WBA champion. I look at it, and the WBA Boxer have removed every WBA belt record off their bloody website. And I was like, what is this? I was like, am I going mad?
No.
And I looked at it and thought, why is there no WBA on this?
Well,
then I went back further to look at Audley Harrison and David Hay, and it wasn't there. I don't know the reason why they've removed it.
Well, I read the article. Did you read the article?
I did last week, but I forgot. If you're better explaining than that.
Well, he's aligning that organization, the new organization. It's called where is it here?
Fight Facts.
Fight Facts is aligning with Turk, and now Turk has got a lot of influence now. So he wants to make the fights he wants, and this may be why we're talking about Wardley and Atuma, you know, because that's an attractive competitive fight of guys, you know, that are up at that particular level at this time. So, and the WBA really, I mean, we've often talked about.
We've always slagged them off. Yeah, we've always slagged them off.
Yeah, so it's probably a promotional tool for Turk and what he wants to do. But it seems like, you know, neither side is issuing any statements right now as to why. But Boxing Rec has a better, I think, more respect because it's
it's brilliant
organization in the United States that tries to keep boxing rules intact. So I don't know where this is going to go, but the WBA is what it is. Maybe they're working together with the Turk and they'll make better fights because they're a joke.
What do you think, Spencer, about this? Because
I really don't have no opinion on this because I don't know what's going on with it. If it is what Tom was saying, as far as Turk is trying to do something else, and he might not be recognizing the WBA in that process, and I don't know why not. Maybe him and Mendoza don't get along.
No, Turk is recognizing the new one, not the box rec.
This boxer record.
It's box rec.
Yeah,
this was removed, yeah, and so as well boxing news as well.
So the WBA removed everything from box rec.
To fight facts.
So WBA removed it. Box rec didn't take them out.
No, WBA removed themselves. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, okay. See.
And they aligned with Turk. So I don't know what the plan is with them. It seems like a promotional move.
Yeah. To me, it looks like we're going to see a big split in boxing in the next 3 or 4 years, the next decade. Boxing is going to be split up. I reckon Turki Al-Shay wants to make like a UFC model for boxing. I don't want to see that. I like boxing the way it is. I like the Western way of boxing. I don't want. I really just. I'm struggling with it because I've always, my whole life, I've always seen the WBA as a prestigious belt held by people like Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and Vladimir Klitschko. That's the way I've always seen it. And to have this split in boxing, it's like you're going to have the WBC, WBA, and WBO all together. This open the door for the IBO now to be recognised as a major sanctioning body. Yeah, that's all it does. It opens the door. So if the WBA is going to be its Circuit Excellencies thing, then we're going to see a split in boxing. So then more people will stick with the traditional stuff like the IBO. This will now open the door for the IBO or somebody else to step in, right?
Whatever alphabet organization it is.
I just think it's a sad day for boxing when you see a split like this. If they want to do it properly and just have one world title like the old days, do it the proper way. Don't do it where you split things off and have more alphabets. So it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I don't see why they would do it. Let's see how it unfolds.
Right, we'll move on because that's one thing that's really upset me. Right, Terence Crawford has vacated his WBO and WBA titles at 147.
Good. We know what he's doing, right, Spencer?
Wait, say that again?
Crawford vacated his WBO and WBA titles. We know what's happening with that, right?
He's staying at 154. He might be going. Canelo said he ain't fighting him, so.
Yeah. Let me double check the belt records. Yeah, Crawford, the only belt he's got left is the WBA. That's it. And then.
No, he vacated the WBA and WBA.
No, I'm saying he's still got the WBA belt. I think he's vacated just the WBO. He's vacated the WBO and the WBC. He hasn't vacated the WBA because he's still the champion on it.
Well, why does he say he vacated the WBO and WBA on?
Because the guy on the video got the information wrong.
Oh, okay. Thanks for clarifying. So
it's just the WBO and the WBC. And obviously, yeah. So, and he now holds the belt at 154. What did you guys think of his performance?
Go ahead, Spencer. You go first.
Spencer?
I'll go first then.
Okay.
Well, it was a close fight. It was a cautious fight. I think, Bud was. I think they were both cautious, but Madrimov was more cautious and trying to get Bud to fall for his feints. But in the end, Bud won, I think, 7 of the rounds, and he was the rightful winner of that fight. And if you look at Madrimov's face afterwards, it was really banged up. He caught him with a lot of good shots, but also Bud took a few good shots too. So at this point, Bud wants the money. He's looking for the cash out. And 154 is probably easier for him to make. And he's got the size for it and the speed. It's just sometimes you're going to get guys that are coming down and rehydrating and then being like 175. That's the problem there in that weight thing there. They could be up to 170,
Yeah, he ain't going to be able to knock people out like he was at welterweight.
No. No, not like that. And even when he stepped into welterweight, he wasn't knocking as many people out, but he was still knocking people out. Oh, that's right.
I'm about to say he stopped everybody at welterweight.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
I'm wrong. Thank you for clarifying. What do you think of it? You saw it, Spencer.
I mean, I I just gave it to. I mean, he didn't. He looked okay, but he stepping up to a new weight class. People was underrating Madrimov in the beginning. Again, like you said, like I said, he was jumping up to a new weight class, fighting a champion. So he did what he was supposed to do. I gave him like maybe can't recall if I gave him 8 or 7 rounds, but I know I gave him the nod.
7, yeah, I get 7. Madrimov blew the first 3 rounds, though. He was just, bouncing around.
Yeah.
Can't undo it.
Yeah.
Marvin Hagler can't undo it either.
I think people on this performance, I thought it was acceptable performance from Crawford, because don't forget, this is his first fight of the weight. Not many people can go into a new weight and just win a world title like that. Not everyone has that kind of talent.
A year off, too.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. That tells you how good he is.
Oh, he's great.
But then it also tells you how, because he's 36 now, he's obviously slowing down a little bit. So this move up in weight is perfect because his skills is far superior to most people in this division, right? Seriously. This fight was for the WBA interim as well. So when I saw the fight, he was getting out muscled a little bit, but his skill was winning the fight. It took him a couple of rounds to work it out, but once it got to the 4th or 5th round, he got him. He was obviously Madrimov's a big guy, but Crawford just had too much skill for him. His movement was good, and I think this weight is good, but I don't think he should go up any more after this. I think he's reached his limit.
Well, yeah, he should be good here, but if Canelo come a knocking at 160 or 165, he gonna go and fight him.
He'll have to take it, but I don't think he would win that fight. But then again, because Canelo's slipping a bit, I just think he's a little bit too small for Canelo.
Yeah, he'll probably Canelo might be a little bit too much for him.
This is when it starts. This is why we have weight divisions. I know that obviously Canelo started at 154, right? So you're asking a guy who started at lightweight to go up all the way up to super middleweight. I think it's too big. Obviously,
no, I got you. That's what I'm saying. Like Canelo might be a little bit too much for him.
I know Hearns did it. I know Hagler and Hearns, they went all the way from like welterweight all the way up to whatever they went up to heavy, like heavyweight.
Well, Hagler, I think, was just a middleweight. Duran was lightweight to middleweight.
Light heavyweight.
He was a freak.
But do you think Crawford has that kind of ability to go up and win world titles at middleweight? I'd say yes, but against who? This is.
I mean, if he had if he was a couple of years younger, I say no problem because he'd have time to go up in there, get comfortable at the weight because he has the dimensions to be a middleweight.
He does.
If he gains, if he puts on the pounds, and he get a couple of fights under his belt, adjusted to the weight, I think he would be, especially based on the landscape of what the middleweight division look like right now. Yeah.
You know what's sad about this era for Crawford is that he doesn't have a Sugar Ray Leonard in his own sort of weight. Any of these top sort of guys, you've had Spencer and that lot, but they're nowhere near the level of those 4 guys, were they? Of the Duran. Really.
No, but the welterweight division when Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Errol Spence, Bud Crawford, and you had a aging Pacquiao, and then you had these in between guys. It was a pretty exciting division.
Devin Alexander, all these guys.
Tim Bradley. It was a pretty exciting time.
But we're going for it's going to go for a week time at the minute. I'd say that.
But see the difference. Partly the difference is though, there wasn't a deeper split back then, so the guys was able to fight, each other with.
Hello.
They was able to fight each other more so.
You could say the same thing about Duran Ennis. He's in an era.
Yeah, I hear you.
He's now in a weak era, right?
Yeah, yeah. He I mean, he could go up to 154 boots, and then he would be in like a whole totally different class. But if he stayed at welterweight, he got all those 140 guys about to come up. He gonna have Haney.
147 is all these guys are weak champions who are belt holders who don't want to take a risk. We're in the era of when the heavyweights had all the belts, like Tim Bird sort of era, where I want to fight the mandatory. I'll take the easy.
Well, I mean, we just lost the undisputed at welterweight. So the guys did fight each other at welterweight because they, Bud wasn't fighting all the guys until after Errol fought him, but he still was fighting the guys. I mean, there was fights being made. Sean Porter fought Keith Thurman. Sean Porter fought Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia fought Keith Thurman. Danny Garcia fought
You're now fighting for a middle.
Yeah.
Jaron Ennis. Carry on. But this era is his to make. Anyway.
Yeah, but like I said, they're gonna have, if these 140 guys, Teofimo and Haney and all of those guys move up to welterweight, it'll be a little bit more exciting of a time. But you can move on.
Okay. Have a look. Number 4. Vinello stops Makhmudov in 8 rounds. Wow.
Ooh.
Let me see the highlights again of this.
Did you see it, Spencer?
Nah, I didn't see it, man.
Man, he busted up his face big time.
Did it look worse than the Caballero stoppage?
His face was grotesque.
Ooh, yeah. He just got caught by Caballero.
Yeah.
Let me just see the highlights for 1 minute.
I put it up there on.
I'm just going to quickly watch the 140-minute highlights of it now.
Let me talk about Vianello to set this up, okay?
Okay.
He lost to Franklin on a bad cut from a punch. That was a TKO, so he wasn't knocked out. And then I thought he actually won the fight with Efe Ajaba, but it was a split decision. He had Ajaba hurt several times. Reeling
Okay.
On.
Yeah.
He's no pushover, this guy. He's tough, and he can box and move. So Madrimov, of course, he's just a bull. He comes at you and he'll pummel you. So that was his mistake, because as soon as he started coming in, he got pummeled back with combinations, uppercuts and hooks, and his face was like that,
He might be calling it a career.
Well, that's what happens when you get pushed too soon. Just because you're big and strong doesn't mean you're going to win every fight.
Not at all. Especially at the heavyweight division where everybody is big and strong.
Yeah, and then you have to really learn your craft. That's what a lot of guys don't do these days. They don't put the time in, learn their craft, and are matched in a way that they can be challenged as they move up the ladder.
Right. Don't jump. Don't, because you did. It's a process of step A. I mean, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Just because you successfully completed step 1 impressively, don't mean it's time to jump to step 4.
No.
You still need to go to step 2.
See, even back in the day, if you lost, it wasn't a big deal. It's like, okay,
right.
You lost. You had guys that won titles that had losses on the chart.
Yeah, several losses.
Yeah. Did you see? Are you watching the highlights?
Yeah. Wow.
He beat
I did see about 4 rounds of the fight. His eye got to the point where it's closed like that. Literally that bad, right? So from what I could see of the first 4 rounds when I watched it about 5 hours ago, Vinello was getting into the fight. Makhmudov couldn't do anything. He was walking into punches. And also, he targeted the eye. That's why it was shut like that. And also, Vanello was hitting him at will. He's hitting him to the body because we know Makhmudov can't take punches to the body after his loss to Ajit Kabayel.
Yeah.
So for me now, I really think Makhmudov needs to go a different route. He has to either accept being a gatekeeper or just fight lower opposition, you know, stay at European level. If he's fighting at European level, he's fine. Just not world level.
Yeah. And I don't even know if European level is his speed. He might have to go below that. And I mean, for him, it got to be European level because they don't, where he's from, they don't have the stuff like the UK and America has.
I mean, he's good enough to win the European title. The guy who holds the European title at the minute is not very good. So from looking at it, this guy can make a good living still. He reminds me of, do you remember Alexander Dimitrenko?
Yeah.
He's just like another Alexander Dimitrenko, but with a bit more heart.
I think Guido is going to be a force in the heavyweight division.
Oh, yeah, definitely, based on that.
Yeah.
But don't forget he lost to Jonathan Rice 3 years ago. You know.
Right. He wasn't ready yet.
Yeah.
That's what it was, Jonathan Rice. That's right. But it was on the cut.
Yeah, he wasn't ready.
He got cut really badly. That's what happened.
Yeah.
You know, right hand put on. Rice.
And for Guidello, he should fight for the European belt next, or fight one of the gatekeepers like a Carlos Takam kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean he's viable. He's young. Well, he's young enough and he's good. So hopefully he'll have a good career. So we move in.
Right. The next thing kind of merges into one. We can either talk about the whole card of this, or we can just talk about the Eubank fight, but it's on that card.
Ah, yes. Serere Mata.
So this is
who else is on that card?
There's it's a Bivol. It's the Bivol.
Okay.
This is an undercard fight. So should we just talk about the whole thing from the start?
Yeah, we could talk about the whole card, but we could go with the Eubank card. Fight first.
Kamil Sheremeta will be fighting Chris Eubank Jr., which I think this is a competitive fight for Eubank. You know,
who did he fight? Who did Kamel fight?
He lost.
Who did I see him fight? Yeah, he lost, but who did?
About 4 years ago, and Triple D.
Right, Munguia, right.
Well,
all right, what's this at middleweight?
Yeah, middle.
Okay.
You know, I saw an article. I think I put it up.
Yeah.
On a site where Eubank has turned down Canelo.
Well, he's an idiot, then, isn't he?
I don't believe it.
He said it'd have to be on his terms.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that. That's crazy. Where did you read this source? Who's writing these articles?
Excuse me, y'all.
Well, let me see. That's okay. Let's see. I'm going on the site right now. Should have had it open. So, but here,
Eubank.
Right here. Here it is.
I mean, I remember there was some rumors about Canelo and Eubank going to fight in the UK. That'll be a UK fight for Canelo, but I didn't think it was, like how far along the negotiations was or the talk were.
Well, this is what it says. Chris Eubank Jr. has amazingly told Canelo that a fight with him will only happen if it's on his terms. If you've ever wondered why Chris Eubank Jr. hasn't landed big fights in his career against the likes of Canelo or Golovkin, it could be something to do with it sounding like Eubank wants to call the shots even when negotiating with a much bigger name in the sport. Eubank said that he was close to signing a fight with Canelo. Eubank told Sky Sports, "We were in serious negotiations. It was kind of sprung on me at the last minute. That was obviously the tactic they went for, trying to offer me the fight and push it as if I had to take it now or never. I have never been the type to be forced into everything. If the numbers are not right, if the business is not right, if the timing is not right, the fight is not going to happen. I am taking a fight to win the fight, not to make a quick buck, so no negotiations didn't come to fruition on that fight. He went on to explain about the fight with Canelo can still happen, providing it's on his terms. I know that the fight can still happen. It still will be made. There are only a few guys that Canelo can fight that the public want to see, so I don't need to rush into that. I don't need to be bullied and pushed into a fight where the terms are very unfavorable to me. So we will wait, I think, May next year that the fight can happen.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, right. Good luck. Good luck with that, Chris.
Yeah, because I mean, Canelo will probably be able to sell out an arena or a stadium in the UK if he fought Eubank over there.
Right. Nathan, would you do that?
Yeah, I think. What would you do? What? Sorry.
If Canelo
sell out in the stadium over there.
Sell out.
He'd do it in the UK. Yeah.
Now,
would they sell out?
Yeah, I would, because people don't like Eubank. They want to see him get his ass kicked.
So they would sell out of Wembley or something like that.
To see him get his ass kicked.
Now, would the pay-per-views be something that Canelo would be willing to bypass the amount of money that he would get here?
I think he would, yeah. But they'd have to. They're better off making the fight in Saudi Arabia. That's in my opinion. Not in the UK. You know, I think that fight makes a lot more money abroad.
You think Canelo would go to Saudi Arabia?
How would the stadium thing make more money in the Saudi Arabia as opposed to the UK?
Because the
Saudis would the gate make more money?
Have a bucket load of money.
I mean, they could just pour the money to him. Yeah, they could just say, "Here," but they could. Yeah, they could. But the way they doing it now, they having fights all over the world. They're not just having it in Saudi. The Bud fight was a Turk fight, right?
Yeah, definitely.
What? Am I not mistaken? Wasn't the Bud fight a Turk fight?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And that was in California, or out here in the States. It wasn't over there.
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, in Britain, it would sell. It definitely.
I was just thinking about having that crowd of people cheering and all of that, for a big event. I don't know. I'm into that type of the whole look of it. But I do know that the Saudis could just give them $100 million and go fight each other. Have it here.
They do it.
They can't say no to that.
So about boxing, the Saudis, they think money can buy everyone. Not everyone can be bought.
Canelo might be one of the boxers that they can't just throw money at and he'll just jump at it.
Canelo's a wealthy man already,
Right. He like, I got my own country, nigga. I don't need y'all.
Yeah, well, he said as much, before.
Yeah, like I don't have to fight in Saudi Arabia. I ain't AJ.
Yeah, well, he is the guy that holds the cards right now.
Yeah, he definitely got the rest of them dudes on a string.
Yeah, he does. He's calling, he's got Berlanga coming up, and who knows after that. And maybe he'll do Benavidez, hoping he'll get Drain dropping down to 168 or something.
I think he might do Crawford or Eubank next in May. I think so. Only because those is easier fights.
Yeah, and they're money makers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a money maker.
Both of those fights. But Eubank got to do something in the meantime. He can't just be fighting this dude and rest on that.
Well, another thing I read was that Canelo told Benavidez.
Shall we go to the rest of the card? Because there's a little bit to cover on this.
Let me just say this. I read that Canelo told Benavidez that if you fight the winner of the Beterbiev and Bivol fight, if you beat Beterbiev, then I'll rematch with you.
He told Bivol that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be undisputed.
That's right.
So he's gonna want to try to make history.
That's right.
What would that be? A three division undisputed?
3, yeah.
That'd be beating Usyk and Bud and Inoue.
All right, where do you want to go, Nathan?
Right, on the next fight, Joe Apatow is fighting Jack Massey. Oh. Jack Massey is a guy that fought at heavyweight, had one fight at heavyweight against Joseph Parker and looked terrible, and his former IBO cruiserweight champion. This is another easy fight. This is another easy British fighter. They're playing to Apatow. They're going back to the same position as before. Remember when he fought those 2 British level guys before? They're going back to the same formula again.
Well, they might not have nobody ready for him to fight, and he might want to stay active or busy.
Yeah. I think he should have never fought for the IBF again. He should have told them where to go after the first time, before he had the
them taking it and all of that other stuff, right?
And they've already taken his belt away from him once, and they wouldn't care doing it again. They wouldn't stop them doing it again, would it? Learn your lesson.
Yeah.
This is a waste of time, this fight. They've got Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark. They signed a rematch. This is on the Saudi card as well. I'm going to pick Fabio Wardley to win. I don't think Fraser Clark's that great, to be honest.
He's a good low. He throws good low blows.
Oh, yeah, he throws good low blows. And he's got a bronze medal that he didn't really win. Do you remember the Olympics when he was given the bronze medal because the guy hit him and got disqualified? That's the only reason he medaled. Fraser Clark reminds me of just another Audley Harrison, but with probably less talent. Right. Let's move on. Shakur Stevenson is fighting Joey Cordina. What? How can a guy who just got knocked out be theory, man?
Shakur is a free agent. He need a fight. He probably
he signed a 2-fight deal
with Matchroom, right? 2-fight deal. So what's the end game? What's the next fight for him?
I'm not sure. This Joey Cordina fight come out of nowhere. They picked this fight out of thin air. It was weird. As we know, Joey Cordina is a former super featherweight champion, isn't he?
Yeah, he was the IBF, was he?
He was the IBF super featherweight champion. Wow.
Yeah.
Then he broke his hand, and it's been downhill since then.
Yeah, I mean, Shakur shouldn't have no issues with him. He should probably knock him out.
Lightweight is the next weight after super feather, I forget. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Because you could call it junior lightweight. You could call it junior lightweight or super featherweight.
You like the fact that he's fighting this guy at... God, I'm losing my mind here. Shakur's 135, sorry.
Yeah, he lightweight.
Yeah. So I find it funny how he can get knocked out in one fight and then the next fight he's fighting for a belt for a weight he's never even fought for a weight he's never fought, and he gets arrested.
He's a high profile opponent.
He is, but he's a high profile guy that lost. If he vacated his belt and moved up, I would have understood. But to go from one loss to fighting a super top guy.
Well,
wow.
This isn't a mandatory. So right. So Shakur is the one that's picking him to fight. I mean, obviously Eddie got him on the roster.
Yeah.
And it might not be.
This is a good move financially for
Shakur.
Not for Shakur, and for
Cordina?
Joey Cordina, because he wouldn't have made super money, would he? So this would be even if he loses, look bad and he'd lose. He'll get a shot on one of them.
It's kind of funny though, because I wonder what Eddie signed him to the 2-fight deal, because Shakur made a big deal about not wanting to get the what was it that Bob was offering him? $5 million for 2 fights, or $10 million for 3?
He wanted 15.
15, something like that. So, and then I'm wondering what Eddie gave him. He probably had to give him more.
Oh, definitely. Definitely he'd give him more.
But this isn't this ain't the main event of the card. Is this the chief support though? I suppose.
Yeah. I think if you're Cordina, it's not a good move to take a fight like this, when you just had a knockout loss. It might be better to take a few easy fights. Obviously this is too good an opportunity financially to turn down, so he had no choice. And another loss on his record won't really hurt him. A second loss on his record.
Especially if it's to Shakur.
Yeah. So a second loss won't hurt him, will it?
Nah, because it'll be to Shakur. He's expected to lose.
Yeah. Imagine if he pulled it off, though.
Or at least goes the distance and looks pretty good. Yeah. His stock will rise.
Then next we've got Sky Nicholson against Raven Chapman. Sky Nicholson is an Australian WBC super featherweight champion fighting somebody called Raven Chapman, somebody I've never heard of before in my life. We will move on anyway.
Sky's good though.
Yeah, she's very good. That's pretty much it. That's all there is on that card. Let me move to the next thing, see what we've got in terms of news. Moses Atuma calls out Joe Joyce. I think we can move on to Mbili. Did anybody watch Mbili against Deryashenko?
Yeah, brutal fight. Brutal.
Yeah. Yo, Deryashenko looked pretty good for them couple of rounds when he ain't had his left arm. He was only able to use his right hand.
Well, I think he should have stayed at middleweight, man. He could have become middleweight champion. He could have had a good shot at being a middleweight. He looks a little small for this division.
Yeah, he did look a little out of size, but yeah, he gave it a good fight. It was a good one, and he had, like I said, he had one arm for like a big portion of the fight.
Yeah. I still don't know about Mbili in terms of, if he would get a shot at Canelo, how he would fare at this point. I mean, he's active, he's fast, but I don't know if he has the guns.
I mean, he knocked out a lot of people. He just didn't knock out Deryashenko, but he got some power. I've seen him fight before, so I mean, I've seen him stop a few guys.
Deryashenko is like the nearly man of boxing, isn't he? Everyone he's lost to has gone on to be super successful, or they were already world-class fighters at the time. Everyone that seems to beat him goes on to the next level. He can't seem to get that, important world level thing. He's had 2 or 3 title shots. He's just been lucky, hasn't he? Really.
I agree with Tom though. If he would have stayed at middleweight, he might have, won a title. He had a title and then lost it. But
super middleweight? Was he super middleweight?
No. Well, and Billy's a super middleweight. Yeah.
So he should go back down and stay and fight people at middleweight, not let his super middleweight.
Yeah.
I mean, why go against what's his name, Morrell, and those other guys coming up?
Well, they moved up. They moved up.
Light heavyweight, right? He won his fight. That's right. Yeah.
Morrell,
but yeah, like you said, why go against those guys when you got a division that you could really compete decently against?
Morrell is a guy who was too good for his own good. Won a world title in only 2 or 3 fights. Nobody wants to fight him because he's too dangerous. Or maybe his profile. It's probably when you fight a Cuban guy, the profiles are not quite big enough, are they?
That's the issue. You don't have like a huge fan base that you could fall back on.
It's true.
Right. There's an interesting one here. There's a list of the 10 best cruiserweights. I'll read it to you and I'll read what each thing says. It says here, for so many fans, the undisputed king of the cruiserweight division was Evander Holyfield. Number 2 is Usyk. Number 3 is Dwight Mohammed Quasi. 4 is David Haye. 5 is Marius Bredis. 6 is James Toney. 7 is Girov. 8 is Johnny Nelson. 9 is Jean Mormec. And number 10 is Carlos de Leon. Johnny Nelson's on the list now. Wow.
What's the first dude's name that was the cruiserweight champion?
Marvin Campbell. Was it Marvin Campbell? Yeah, it was Marvin Campbell. So, yeah. Sure, I looked that up.
That was his name?
Marvin Campbell. He was an American Indian, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, Holyfield or Usyk, that's a tough call there. Kwai was also, he was great. Holyfield beat him. I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
how
how.
Holyfield would have done against Usyk.
Marvin Camel's the first ever cruiserweight champion or whatever.
Usyk could have outmaneuvered Holyfield.
He probably may have. I mean, especially when Holyfield was at cruiserweight, he didn't have the same amount of veteran tactics that he did at heavyweight.
Oh, he was veteran tactics? You mean the elbows and the headbutts?
Yeah.
And the low blows?
Yeah. So if he might have beat Usyk at heavyweight, but he might have lost to Usyk at cruiserweight.
Oh, God.
I mean, he butted Tyson almost into unconsciousness in their first fight.
Yeah, that's why Tyson bit his ear off in the second one.
Yeah. He was saying to the referee, "Look at my eye. He's butting me, man." And the ref didn't do anything about it. So Tyson.
Yeah, he's like, all right. And then he started doing it in the second fight. That's why Tyson was like, all right, he took his mouthpiece out. He was like, yeah.
Look, his ear's on the floor. What happened?
Right. I'm going to have to. What I'm going to say now will be an unpopular decision.
Go ahead.
I think you've kind of got to put Usyk as a number one because he did it.
What I think. I think so.
But not by much. It's not by much, though. But if you look at their careers, obviously, Evander Holyfield's career will be long remembered more than what Usyk's career is.
I'm going to give it to Holyfield only because Holyfield's reign at cruiserweight, although brief, made cruiserweight a significant division. He helped make the division significant.
That's a point. Yeah.
And Usyk at number 2. I mean, number 3, Dwight Muhammad. You know what? Can I be honest? I've never seen Dwight Muhammad quasi fight.
Oh, he was.
Yeah. He was a tough dude. He was a short guy too.
Yeah. And
wasn't he a tough, small, stocky, tough black guy? Weren't he? I've seen pictures.
Yeah, Dwight Braxton.
A little bit.
Yep.
But
he was Dwight Braxton before he's converted to Islam.
If you hit him, he looked at you and just smiled.
Who would you compare Dwight Muhammad Quasi with from a fighter from the last 20 years? Who would you say is similar to? Then I can gauge it in my head.
I would say like Joe Frazier. He would just.
No, he's saying like a recent fighter.
Who would he be similar to in the last 20 years?
The last 20 years. That's a good question. Somebody who peekaboo style, throwing hooks, weaving underneath. You know, short.
Would he be a Jeff Lacey kind of mold? A Jeff Lacey sort of mold?
No. Lacey was different. The last 20 years, somebody who fought like that—that's hard. It's hard to think of somebody who fought like him because he was so relentless and tough, and his willpower, his strength. It was so impressive, like for a guy his size. So who do you think, like
would I say Curtis Stevens? Nah, because Curtis Stevens he's not as good. Curtis Stevens obviously wasn't as good.
No, and geez, that's hard to really say. I mean, in the last 20 years, I don't know. He had a wicked style, Chloe.
Yeah. He
Isn't he dead now? I believe he's dead now, right?
I don't know if he is.
I think he is.
I think he might be.
I'll
think
check
both.
Dwight Braxton.
Yeah, that was his pre-Muslim.
Dwight Braxton was his real name, was it? His original name.
Was his birth name, yeah.
He died, let's see, did he die?
10 years ago, only 15 years ago.
I don't know.
Oh, well, okay.
And then number four is one of my favourite fighters of the 2000s, David Haye. I'd say he should be higher. He should be above Quasi. He should be number 3 on the list because he won all 3 belts apart from the IBF. And the only guy of his era who he didn't fight of that era was the guy at the Jamaican heavyweight. Is it Bell something? You know who I mean? Bell. I forgot his name.
It doesn't say he's dead. I can't find it where he's dead.
I think Carlos de Leon might be dead then.
Dwight Kwawi is still alive, dude. He's 71.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know he was alive. I
He's
think
71.
DeLeon's dead. There was another one, wasn't there, with that sort of name? That's it. Carlos DeLeon's the one who's dead.
Oh, you're talking about the
Wasn't the
light?
Mohammed Kwazi? And then there was another guy with another similar name, right? Another American with a similar
Yeah,
name.
he was a light heavyweight. I know who you're talking about.
They got a couple of them. There was Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. There was
That's
Muhammad
it.
Saeed.
He's dead. He's
Muhammad Saeed. What's his name? Who? Because they all. Yeah, it's funny. I think it was Eddie Mustafa Muhammad was the champion. I think Muhammad
But there was one before him from
Matthew Saad Muhammad. Matthew Saad Muhammad.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. He's dead as well.
Matthew Saad Muhammad beat Eddie Mustafa, and then Dwight Kwawi beat Matthew Saad.
Yeah, I met Matthew Saad once.
I met Eddie when I was a kid. He came to my mom's job because she was a counselor at the boys club in Brownsville, and he came there. I met him.
Well, the guy that cleaned out some of those guys was Michael Spinks too.
Oh, he's dead as well.
Michael.
All these guys are dead.
Oh, Michael Spinks.
No,
Michael said Sad is dead. He died 10 years ago. Right, we'll move on to our next boxer. Number 5 is Marius Bredes.
Michael Spinks.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's one of the greatest cruiserweights ever. I mean, he is, but he's not. There's one guy we're forgetting here, Marco Huck.
I was just about to say, is Huck on the list? Huck? I would put Huck on the list.
He's not on the list.
I would have put Huck on the list over these one of these guys. He was like a champion of multiple-time champion, right?
Yeah, and he had the belt he made 15 defenses. He equaled the record with.
Huck should be on that list.
He should be really high on this.
Somebody should write to James Slater, who wrote this article, and say, hello.
You don't know anything about boxing, and you should do your research for it. I could write that.
Tony is on here. Tony is on here.
Yeah. Well, how? In what planet?
I would put Tony as the top 10 crew. How long was he cruiserweight?
Only about a year. And then
I wouldn't put him no top 10 cruiserweight.
No,
but his fight with Jirov was unbelievable.
Yeah, that fight was a great fight. He beat him, out, then he vacates and moves up to heavyweight and knocks out Holyfield in 9 rounds. That's what I remember.
Yeah, that's
an oddball.
Yeah, I guess.
And Vali Jirov, he was a long-time champion, I believe. I think he made 10 defenses or something. He's champion for about 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Did you want to move on to the Mayweather Gotti too?
Yeah, there's more on this list. There's Johnny Nelson.
Oh yeah, Gotti, you didn't like
Johnny Nelson? Boring. John Mark Mormack, yeah, I agree with that. Carlos DeLeon should be higher.
Yeah, I think Huck should be on the list.
I think we can move on. I think this list is trash.
Yeah.
James, what's his name? James Whitaker, is it? James, whatever your name is, you wouldn't get a publishing deal anywhere else. You're shit. You're right. Slater.
Slater.
Your article writing's fucking shit. Give up. Right, let's move on to the Mayweather Gotti fight. Oh.
Do we have to go through it again? I mean, what?
It's.
I don't want to see this.
Who's on the card? It used to be. Is Rolly on the card?
I don't think.
No, Hovhannissian is
in Mexico
versus Romero.
So was what's his name? The guy who beat Andre Berto for the WBC white belt.
Wait a minute. Am I looking at the right thing? So this is all right, but Gotti and him are not on. It doesn't say they're on this card.
But they are on this card.
Colonel Moten. Oh, really? I haven't heard from him in a long time.
Let me have a double check again.
Is this the one with Arias is on it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, Luis Arias versus Amazequita. Francisco Rios Amazequita. who's Amasquita's rated 574.
Yeah, these is
The highest fighter on this card is Sylvia Torres at number 8.
I've got a different card here that's been updated from 3 hours ago, CBS Boxing. And I'm looking on here who's on this card. Victor Ortiz is on this card.
So wait, does BoxRec not recognize the guys as champions?
No.
Or they just don't recognize the title?
They don't recognize the WBA title.
So the guys are still up there on BoxRec, like Laura, all the WBA champions are there, but they just not listed as champions on BoxRec.
So your best point of reference is what I do now is I go to the current boxing champions on Wikipedia. That tells you what's going on more. And then I have to go to Fight Facts to get my information. And I have to look at other boxing websites just to confirm. So I have to do more research. But Victor Ortiz is on this card. Picasso, Camel. Victor Ortiz is still fighting. Wow. That's great. What world are we living in? Jesus Christ.
Yo. Oh. Hey, yo. That is bananas.
When is...
well, listen.
Let's talk about the Garcia fight.
Hold up. Yeah. Ortiz is fighting, but so is Mayweather. So
they're on the same card.
Right. So there you go.
Maybe finally able to kick.
Do you think Ortiz will want to talk to the ref again, and then Mayweather can knock him out again? Do you remember that?
He took that's why I'm like, we like Ortiz still fighting. That's bananas, but so is Mayweather. So
Ortiz has got to be about 40 now. About at least he's a bit younger, I think. Let me look.
Yeah, he might be a couple of years younger than Floyd.
He'd be late 30s. He's only 37. Wow.
Damn.
Let me see. He last fought a couple of years ago, and he won the decision there. I'm surprised they didn't put what's his name? Floyd's old understudy, Broner, on this card.
Oh no.
He with Don King.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I forgot he's with Don King Promotion.
He should just quit. He got his head handed to him with his last fight.
What was his name? The guy he fought. I've forgotten his name.
Blair Cobbs. Blair Cobbs.
Blair Cobbs. That's it. Yeah, Blair Cobbs.
Guy was just too fast, too active. Knocked him down, knocked some of his teeth out. And then, as usual, Adrian tried to turn it up near the end, but he couldn't do it.
He's just aged. He hasn't aged like other fighters, where other fighters are better at their peak at 33. He's kind of reached his peak when he was 26, 27, when he lost to
How many more topics we got, guys?
Let me have a look. What else was I say? Vic, what does everybody think about this Lara
Garcia fight?
Yeah, what does everyone think about it?
I want to see it. It's going to be interesting. I want to see if any one of what these dudes got.
Yeah, well,
I mean, Laura should win, but
don't count out.
He's 41 now. He's 41 now.
Yeah,
Garcia.
Yeah,
great fight. Garcia's, for me, when I look at his career, he hasn't really fulfilled as what he should have done. When I look at how good he is.
Who? Danny
Garcia. He fulfilled stuff, but what I'm saying is he hasn't been that active, has he? Really, over the last couple of years. No.
I mean, that's because whatever the Al Heyman boys have sound investment, so they had like money to lay back on, I guess.
Is Al Heyman still promoting or not, or is he?
I don't know if I think I think Al Heyman got something to do with him. But listen, only reason why I'm asking is because I'm about to eat. My food came back, so
yeah. We'll stop the podcast there. If you stay on the line, Tom, we'll end it there. We'll be back next week, hopefully.